No more playing around, y'all. God's looking for some warriors. We got any out there?
Welcome to Haycraft Ministries. Today we're going to be discussing about the recent parole hearing that we went through on April the 10th. And I'm going to start out with scripture, and this is from 2 Samuel 24:14. And David said to Gad, I am in great distress. Please let us fall into the hand of the Lord, for his mercies are great, but do not let me fall into the hand of man. And that is something that I prayed a lot and still continue to pray. Michael did have his parole hearing on April the 10th, and that is of 2018, because I know that these videos stay up forever until I take them down. And it went as expected. So I just want to let you know the process of this. It was a matter of traveling down the day before, getting a motel room, and then being at the facility. I was told to be there before 8 o'clock so that everybody could be processed and gotten through there. Got back to a section of the visitation gallery about 8:30, and it was 15 after 12 before my husband was called. Michael had been in protective custody since October the 5th of 2017 due to being threatened by gang members. That came from an officer that did not do his job properly, and we'll wait for another video on that. Anyhow, the officers did apologize because Michael was only one that was in protective custody, and you know, they just didn't think about it. They're human too, and I accepted that. Michael was denied parole, and that was based on the fact that he caught a Class A write-up, and that was because the counselor of the therapeutic community program where he was did not obey policy and procedure. He did not go by that, and yet the hearings officer stated that she had to follow policy. So apparently there seems to be a discrepancy between who is to follow policy and procedure and who is not. But within this process of parole, we need to find out why is this. Now, what happens when someone is sentenced? They are sentenced either to 100% of the time that they have been given, however long that is, which means that they do that day for day. There's no good time, anything. Someone, if they stay clean, if they stay out of trouble and stuff, they are awarded so many days per month, and that is called good time, and that comes off of their probation sentence. In Virginia, when someone is sentenced, they are required by law to spend 85% of their sentence incarcerated, and then the remainder of their sentence can be transmuted into parole, probation, depending on what it is. In Tennessee, it is a matter of 35%, and that this is agreed on at the time of sentencing. So that is a court order that this person is to spend 35% of their time incarcerated, and then they can go up for parole. Now, to me, that sounds very strange, because if a court has already decided that somebody was supposed to spend 35% of their time incarcerated, why do we even need a parole board? And within this, let's look at some definitions. And the definition of justice, we hear this thrown around very loosely. And justice is a matter of interpretation. It shouldn't be, but it is, especially within the legal industry. And according to Merriam-Webster, we have the definition of justice is the maintenance or administration of what is just, especially by the impartial adjustment of conflicting claims or assignment of merited rewards or punishments, meting out justice, social justice. Excuse me. We also have a judge or a Supreme Court justice, and so that's a title. There's an administration of law, a fugitive from justice. 2, we've got the quality of being just, impartial, or fair. Question the justice of their decision. And then we've got conformity of truth, fact, or reason. Okay, those are the definitions of justice. So within this, what is truth, what is fact, what is reason? And we've got many, many questions about that in today's society. Let's look at the definition of vengeance. Punishment inflicted in retaliation for an injury or offense. Retribution. Also, we've got with great force or vehemence, undertook a reform with a vengeance. 2, an extreme or excessive degree, such as the tourists are back with a vengeance. And we can question whether our legal industry and corrections industries within the United States, is it a matter of justice or is it a matter of vengeance? And from what I have seen, it is the latter of the two. Let's look at the definition of mercy. Compassion or forbearance shown especially to an offender or to one subject to one's power. Imprisonment rather than death imposed as penalty for first-degree murder. That's an example of that. A blessing that is an act of divine favor or compassion, such as may God have mercy on us. And compassionate treatment of those in distress. Within the parole system, we were shown no mercy, even though I had requested mercy for my husband, because that if the mental illness were not a factor with Michael, he would not be where he is. And that is not being shown to us. Who are these people that comprise the parole board? What is their job description? Well, first of all, this is off of the Tennessee.gov Employment Opportunities website. It says there's no formal job description for the classification of parole board member. The job title is Executive Service and serves at the pleasure of the appointing authority of the department in which the position is located. The qualifications for executive service positions are determined by the appointing authority. The appointing authority is the governor. Now, what do these people get for being a parole board member? Okay, they get state employee benefits such as insurance, which includes health insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance, life insurance, and long-term care. Annual leave. Full-time employees earn annual leave each month at a rate based on years of service, which is as follows: 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 or more. Annual leave earned per month: 1 day, 1.5 days, 1 3/4 days, and 2 days. Maximum allowable days: 30 days, 36, 39, 42, and leave earned in excess of the maximum allowable days will be transferred to the employee's sick leave account annually on the employee's anniversary hire day. We've got sick leave, bereavement leave, family medical leave, parental leave, military leave, holidays, and retirement. So that sounds like a pretty good deal to me, you know. There's also deferred compensation. That's a 401k plan, flexible benefit plan. You know, this is programmed for certain expenses such as medical, dental, all these things right there. Higher education fee discounts and waivers. 25% discount on undergraduate tuition at any state-operated institution or higher learning in Tennessee is available to children 23 years of age and under full-time state employees. So that means that their kids can go to college at reduced fees. So that's a pretty good deal right there. Then they've got the Baccalaureate Education System Trust. And this is so that they can save up for their kids' college funds. Got a wellness program, which employees' knowledge of options of healthier lifestyles. That's great. and this is the one that interests me most, Employee Assistance Program, which is confidential counseling and referral service for all employees and their dependents. All services are strictly confidential and can be accessed 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's wonderful. That's what I was asking for my husband, was that somebody that is a qualified mental health professional be available to him, because that he has 3 Axis 1 diagnoses. He has severe mental illness, and yet the parole board decided to leave him in this situation for yet another year. Now, let's see, who are these parole board members? We have one gentleman who is the chairman, and he was appointed in 2013. He is a former state representative. Let's see, he's a graduate of Hiawassee Junior College and University of Tennessee, retired from Oak Ridge National Laboratory. He was operations manager. He served 16 years on a board of education, served for chairman for 6 years, and I don't see anywhere in there that it says he has any kind of background to deal with people who have severe mental illness. Another gentleman was let's see, he worked as a public relations manager for a group in Kentucky. He served as an appraiser. Oh, that's always good when you're trying to deal with somebody that you don't know what their situation is. Volunteers as a youth basketball coach. That's really good. I have no problem with that. There's another gentleman that has been on there since 2013, and he was a member of a police department for 25 years. Now, within this, we have to ask ourselves, what is his attitude towards people that have been arrested, towards people that have been labeled felon? Does he have an understanding of any of the individuals that he was involved in changing the lives of those individuals and their families? Here's another gentleman that let's see, he joined the United States Secret Service and worked as special agent and supervisor. And he was assigned to cities. That included Washington, D.C. Let's see, he was County Emergency Management Agency. Another one as far as elected sheriff of a county. So here's another one. I don't see anything about his qualifications to deal with people who are mentally ill. Yet another one does have special education as the background, and says that she dealt with children who had severe cognitive and physical challenges. That's wonderful, and it's one of those that she owns 2 other businesses. What does that teach her about adults who have severe mental illness to the point that they are incarcerated? Another one practiced law, and she served as the delinquent tax attorney. Yes, that's qualification to deal with my husband's mental illness. Another one has served 3 terms as General Assembly prior to the appointment as the parole board. Former state trooper, was a road officer before that. Later on, the governor's security detail for former governors, Brisden and Sundquist. Other professional experiences include work as an insurance agent for Tennessee Farm Bureau. Now, these are the people that decided that it was a good thing to keep my husband in prison for another year. Now, this is what we're dealing with, folks. These people knew nothing about my husband's circumstances, our family's circumstances, other than what I wrote in a letter to them, begging them for mercy, begging them to let him come home. They could have put an ankle monitor on him. I could have been taking him to therapy the whole time he's been incarcerated. Now, let's look at the overview. And it says the Board of Parole is an independent agency in the state of Tennessee. It is composed of 7 members who are appointed by the governor. Oh, okay, why? What qualifications do they have? Are these people, why did the governor choose these people? Member terms last 6 years and may be renewed upon the governor's recommendation. So there's not even a term limit on this. It says that by statute, the board has the authority to parole eligible offenders who have served a certain percentage of their sentences. It also has the authority to revoke parole privileges if offenders do not comply with supervision rules and standards set forth for them upon their release. Additionally, the board considers requests for executive clemency and makes recommendations on those requests to the governor. It says here the Board of Parole is committed to a partnership with the citizens of Tennessee in promoting public safety and will be recognized as a leader by participating in cooperative efforts such as multi-purpose service centers, coordinated victim services, and interagency efforts, providing employees with access to and training in the use of advanced technologies, fostering a highly professional staff that is proficient in parole support services, and promoting effectiveness and efficiency through the use of outcome measures and innovative approaches to service delivery. I don't even know what that means. What kind of service delivery are they doing? You know, it's like, are they working with some other reentry services? Are they working with mental health providers? Are they working with community supports such as churches or other kind of groups that can help people know that they're not alone? The reason I didn't make this video earlier is because of the toll that it has taken on me physically. And family members are those that are invisible and forgotten. We're sentenced right along with our loved ones. It's not just my family that is going through this. It's thousands of others. And it is a matter of the public speaking up and speaking out and refusing to be scared into silence. And that is something that I would love to have other family members, other people who have been labeled as felon. Let me tell you something. I don't care what the world calls you. I know what Jesus Christ calls you, and He calls you beloved. Don't you let anybody else tell you that you are anything other than loved. We've got this from 1 Samuel 17:45. Then David said to the Philistine, he was talking to Goliath here. Now he went out to meet this man with 5 stones. He said, you come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin. But I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. And I ask you for prayer, because this campaign to reveal the darkness in these areas has come with a high price. And we'll discuss that later. And that's all right, because what the enemy intended for evil, God will intend for good. So I do ask you for prayer. Thank you for joining me today, and let us pray one for another.
It's time to go to war. It's time to make it happen. Destiny is calling your name. Time to take some